Yay! Hello! Welcome back to Happy Hour. This is so much fun. I'm so excited. I used to do this every single week, burned myself out, and now I am starting fresh once a month Happy Hour, kicking things off with my good buddy, my pal, my queen, my idol, Hailey Hughes.
That's
Tell the people who you are.
I'm Hailey. I have a channel here on the internet. I've been doing booktube for a good minute now, like over 2 years. It's been a wild 2 years. The last time I was on booktube happy hour was a great time, but I'm in a wildly different place now. I was just telling Noelle, so I'm very excited for the updates. I would like to know if anyone remembers OG. Booktube happy hour before I was book
Yes.
lovers happy hour. But
Yes, I know. I think the last one was like a year and a half ago now.
that's wild.
I know. But the time really flew by.
Yeah. And
Oh,
this
the
is
puppy.
Boba.
She's like, actually, this is Boba's happy hour. Thank you.
For sure. She's been doing this in all my telehealth sessions. She just like will say hello and then incessantly lick my face. So I'm trying to, be empathetic to people's trauma, and I just have a chihuahua sticking her tongue down my throat. So
I mean, she's a therapy dog. She's a virtual therapy chihuahua.
she actually is. She's going through the training right now to actually be used in my sessions. So
No way. Oh my God.
you will actually be a therapy dog at some point when we have money to pay for that.
Precious. I just watched your vlog where you were talking about your dogs drinking water while you're filming, and that was the most relatable content I've ever seen in my life. That's all Sunday does.
They
She
literally
does, exactly.
It's like they
It's
feel
amazing.
the permission. It's like, oh, she's talking, she's occupied. Let me go take a drinking break. Like, no,
Yes.
this is not the time.
Truly. My dog is the type of dog where she will have food in her bowl all day and she'll just eat it when she's ready. Like she'll nibble once she feels the urge, and without fail, always. It's as soon as I turn on the camera. Like,
What?
you need your own channel. Yeah.
This girl does not understand that concept. As soon as I put the food in, they scarf it down. And sometimes they eat it so fast they literally puke it right up afterwards. And I'm like, what was the point of that?
The enthusiasm, the enthusiasm.
Very enthusiastic. That's like such a Chihuahua thing too, which I think people's dogs totally represent their personality. And
Oh yeah.
me and my anxious ass and my two little Chihuahuas, like we're a match made in heaven.
Yes, I so believe that people look like their dogs or have like similar vibes, personalities as their dogs.
Hopefully, I don't look like Mochi. That would be an actual nightmare. He is an alien on this earth. But if I look
He's
like
a sweet old man. Yeah, he's just here for a good time.
we don't know how long he's gonna last, but he's still kicking. So
Bless him. Bless him.
cheers to Moch.
Cheers to Moch. I know we have our little matching glasses of white wine.
You have Chardonnay? I have Chardonnay.
This is Roussan because I'm a bougie wine country bitch, but it's close enough to Chardonnay.
I love it.
Elizabeth is here. Disco Wednesday saving me from the shitty news spiral. Yes, give yourself a news spiral break. That is important.
Yes.
Laura, hello. Hello. Andy's here. Hello. Mayo, hi bestie.
Oh my god, I know everyone.
So fun, an icon. Sunday does want her moment. I'm sure she's not even in the room, which means she's on my bed right now. So she'll be here eventually, I'm sure. Please be here for a bit. We will be here for at least an hour. We will see.
Oh yeah.
This is how we do. Oh my gosh, Renee, hello. This is my friend Renee. She also has her Hot Girl podcast, Small Business Sips, which is a sweet transition because we were just talking backstage about Miss Hailey being a multi-business owner, which I definitely want to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. That's been a crazy ride. No, Mochi's ugly. Like, I don't know if y'all have all seen my dog Mochi. The one I just showed, that was Boba, and she's gorgeous. Moch is the ugly duckling of the family. Okay, he is not cute. He was about to be murdered at the shelter because nobody wanted to adopt him. And I brought him home because I couldn't bear to see his little ugly face get the shot. So I'll show him if he emerges, but I'm not going to go disturb him right now.
Oh, Moch. That is here. Paige is here. Hello. I'm so excited that everyone is here. Yes, tell us, spill your tea, Miss Business Owner, on your rise to girl boss stardom.
I feel like such a girl boss, and being a girl boss involves a lot of stress and a lot of paying money to the federal government and the Texas state government, which is not a fun time. So the last time I was here, I was about to graduate with my master's, and I was working at an agency. I got my master's in clinical mental health counseling, and I graduated from agency work. So one of the businesses that I own is a private therapeutic practice that is just me and my little clients doing somatic therapy, and it's beautiful. It's literally my dream. I get emotional every time I think about it because I feel like nobody loves their job more than I love being a therapist. It is my favorite thing ever. So I have that, and that's like my day job. But then, of course, I do BookTube, and it kind of took off in the last year. I think, like 30 subscribers away from 12K right now, which is pretty crazy growth in 2 years, starting from nothing. So I talked to a tax person because I realized I had not paid 1 cent of taxes on anything that I made on YouTube. And for some reason, I had the impression that if you make under a certain amount of money, you don't have to pay taxes. Like, that was just like the rumor that I heard, but I never fact checked. And when I got a CPA, she was like, yeah, girl, the IRS is coming for your ass. So you better make a second LLC for all of your social media income. So now I have 2 LLCs. I'm the proud owner of 2 businesses that get taxed out the ass by Texas. Yep. So it's been a lot of girl bossery, but it's very cool to see that I can do this and that this is a viable thing, and that I've made 2 things that I genuinely really love and have a passion for into a career that like pays my rent and is paying for my wedding. Like, that's a pretty cool.
That is the most badass thing. I'm like, can't wipe this stupid smile off my face. It's so fucking cool. So exciting.
Yeah. Never would have expected this. And honestly, I owe my success with my private practice to YouTube, because having that supplemental income on the side, even though it's not like sustaining, like I couldn't live on it, it gave me the flexibility to stop working at an agency and start seeing private practice clients. Like, that is such a huge risk for a therapist. People do not respect mental health workers, especially ones who don't take insurance. We kind of get shat on. And when I send my bill for the traumatic and heavy emotional labor that I do, a lot of the times I get back, I can't pay for this. I just spilled everything, all my trauma to you. Don't you understand? And it's like, but I still do a great job and pay my rent, so I don't have to talk to my therapist about you. So
the cycle.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult to start a private practice, and any therapist out there knows that. So I'm so grateful that this little hobby of filming myself talking about books allowed me to do this so much earlier in life than I thought I would ever be able to.
That's so amazing. I'm like, I love this for you. Congrats on all your revenue streams. Exactly.
Diversify.
Yes. Yeah. Renee also is a business owner. She's like, I hear you on all the taxes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mentioned you in a video and took a screenshot, and in November of 2020, you had 500 subs. I think this was right around when I found your channel also. And I remember you having around 400 or 500 subs. And it's like truly amazing. I just watched your thriller vlog the other day and I was like, damn, like she is popping off. What a queen.
I don't know how it happened. I felt like I sat at that like 500, 600 subscriber mark for so long. And I was fine with that. I was like, you know, this is my cool community of like 500 thriller queens, and we're just all going to read together and have a good time. I don't know what it was. Something blew up. The algorithm picked me up, and now I have 20 something times that amount, which if I think about it too long will definitely send me into a spiral.
Freaks you out? I know. It's almost like a sports stadium of people.
Yeah.
Not to freak you out.
I can't conceptualize.
It's not that many. It's just like a few. It's like your closest friends.
It really is. I know my closest friends are in there, and that's what keeps me making videos. I got to a point probably around like the 8,000 to 9,000 subscriber mark where I was getting so burnt out and just feeling like this is an obligation now. This is turned into something that is on my to-do list, and it's not only for fun, it's for now I'm starting a business and I'm in debt and I have to make money somehow because clients are not coming in like a revolving door. So when it started to feel like that is when I started my Patreon, and that has revived my love for making these videos so much. And I know a couple of my patrons are in here. I literally love them so much. Not only do they help me, you know, pay my fucking rent, but they also gave me that like smaller community that I was missing so much. Like recognizing everybody's name, knowing what's going on in everybody's life, remembering what everyone is currently reading. I can't do that on a 12,000 people scale, but I can do that on like 100 people scale on Patreon, which is just like, it reminds me of the early days of BookTube before there was any drama and when everybody just like wanted to talk about the books they were reading.
Yes, quarantine BookTube was really a special place.
It really was.
That was its own era. Happy to hang out. I have kind of dropped off my reading journal, honestly, but it is something I do want to pick up again. Is this month the month? No, but we're not going to put pressure on it. Maybe one day. Go you. It's something I've always wanted to do, but I've been scared about not having enough income. It
is terrifying. It is terrifying. Yeah, there's a lot of debt.
I am sure. An LLC in Texas. Ooh.
Yep.
I love this. How do you feel like you balance not the obligation, but having multiple LLCs, having multiple passive incomes between your channel, your Patreon, and your private practice?
My clients always come first. That's just how it works out in the balance. When I'm not thinking about my own mental health or like something going on with my immediate family, my mind is on my clients at all times. I care for them so deeply. I'm always thinking about them. So they come first. I had an issue last month where I had a scheduled stream for my patrons and my client was having an emergency. I had to push the stream back, and luckily everyone was so sweet about it and like totally understood because they're literally the best people ever. But that's just how it shakes out. Like I take my job as a mental health professional so seriously. So that is always going to come first. And if I ever come to a point where my practice is taking over, I would probably pull away from YouTube and Patreon. But right now it's still something that I really, really enjoy, and my practice is still growing. So I feel like I have enough time for it where I don't feel burnt out at all. And I also think it's about doing the things for social media that I find fun. I think around that like burnout time when I hit like 8 or 9K was when I was sticking to a really tight TBR, only reading what other people wanted me to read, and stressing myself out about people are going to stop watching if I don't read what they want me to read. And I just dropped that the past couple months. I'm like, listen, y'all are going to get a TBR video of some great books that I really do want to read. But in my wrap up, it's going to be 20 extreme horror books you've never heard about. So I give myself the freedom to read what I want, other than obviously like I plan out vlogs and I have my book club with my patrons and things like that. But I try to keep it things that I enjoy so it doesn't feel like work to balance everything.
Yeah. Our heart isn't in it. Like, to me, it feels really obvious when I watch someone and I'm like, I just don't know if this is what they want to read or if they're doing it. Or a book is really popping off. It feels a little bit hollow to me compared to the videos that seem really weird or niche or particular, but you could tell someone is just so excited and so passionate. And thinking about like in the olden days of like 2013 booktube, there was like 5 booktubers and they could tell you to read anything and you'd be like, that's what people are reading, I'm gonna go. But now it's such a larger corner of YouTube that there's so many people, and I think it's more about the personality of the creator that people are drawn to. Maybe they come to your channel because they see, oh my gosh, she reads thrillers, or they see something in the thumbnail that's like, wow, I like that book. What did she think of that? But they stay for Hailey's quirks and Hailey's personality and Hailey's extreme horror wrap-ups. It's, like it's I think it's more about the personality as far as like retaining an audience.
Yes. I get those comments all the time that are like, I just found your channel through your top favorite thrillers of all time video, and now I'm binging everything that you've ever made. I'm obsessed with you. I think we would be friends in real life. And those are my favorite comments that are like, we would be friends in real life. Because I know when people say that, it's true. Like, I've met so many of my patrons in whether it's like live stream or I've actually met a couple of them in real life. And we would be best friends if we lived like next door to each other or we had gone to the same college or something like that. So that's my favorite part about the internet, is just like finding people that you never would have come across in your wildest dreams. And all of a sudden you have like these besties that just get you. And it's definitely more about the personality, because I have a lot of people who like, they don't even read thrillers and they watch my videos. It's so fun.
It's definitely, my least read genre, but I gobble up your content because I love to see the Hailey show. So it definitely is like the personality and the vibes. Even though I'll watch a video of yours, it'll be 40 minutes long. I'm like, I know for damn sure that I will not read any of those books, but I'm along for the ride. Like I am here for the journey.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I can tell the difference between editing a few months ago and editing now. I have so much fun editing my videos now, because when I read 6 extreme horror books, which is the vlog I just filmed, I had such a good time. I have an hour and a half of footage that I don't know what I'm going to do with. And months ago, it was like I would have vlog footage sitting in a folder on my laptop, and it would just sit and sit and sit. And I'm like, I don't want to edit me reading books that everybody told me to read that I didn't like.
Yep. That is the tea.
Yeah.
You don't have to say specifics, but do you feel like there's content that you've made that you now regret?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Every readathon I've ever been a part of. And I'm so sorry. I know I've been a part of readathons that you've hosted or co-hosted or whatever. I just realized, and it was literally in the last year because I saw so many people having fun with readathons, that I was like, why can't I get into it? And everything that I've ever posted that had to do with the readathon, I just didn't like. So I made it my mission this year to participate in a readathon that I enjoyed and have everything come from an authentic place. And literally my patrons have helped me so much. In the Discord, they've been like giving me ideas, and okay, y'all are getting the inside scoop because my announcement video does not go up for another week. But I'm hosting a readathon that is extreme horror, indie horror, KU, Kindle Unlimited horror vibes in October. And it's going to be called Happy Hailey Ween. And it's just me. It's just me. I know it's like the thing to have a million hosts and do freaking sprints every day and all that shit. That does not feel good for me. That does not feel authentic for me. So it's just going to be me reading horror books in the corner, and I want to talk about it with everyone. Like, that is what I
love it. Happy Hailey Ween is just everything.
I was really in the Discord. I was like, does that make me sound like I have a little penis, or will people get it?
No, it's great. I love it. It's like watering my crops, clearing my skin. I love it.
So yeah, that feels better to me. And I think it's less about like a readathon and more about finding the type of readathon that feels good for me. And less about reading vlogs are not working for me. No, it's not that. It's that I need to give myself flexibility where I can take a break in the middle of a vlog and I don't have to read from the same author back to back to back to back.
Yes. And I get what you mean about the readathons. I went through my big readathon phase last year. There was only 1 or 2 months last year that I wasn't involved in a readathon of some fashion. And I look back at that and I'm like, what? How is that even possible? I think I've done a couple this year, but I realized that I have so much fun with the planning and the themes and like the vibes, the organization. My Virgo ass really comes out so strong on things like that. But actual participation, it feels like when you tell someone your goals and then you already have the satisfaction of that goal. So you feel like, well, what's the point in doing it? And then I just throw my TBR that I've meticulously planned out the window because I already talked about it, spent all this time puzzling it together. And then I feel guilt when I don't do it. So it just became this weird cycle for me that I've ended up stepping back as well. Not entirely. I still do find them fun, but I definitely haven't been hosting every month like I did last year. So it took some reflection.
My head would literally explode if I hosted readathons with other people. And I hate to say that, you know, I feel a little bit of that content creator guilt of like, I want to connect with other creators, but for me, I'm an introverted girl. I don't like a lot of other people. If I meet a person just like by chance, chances are I'm not going to like them and I'm not going to want to talk to them and be on sprints with them for fucking hours upon hours. So the best way I can do a readathon and have fun with it is if it's just me and my buds.
Mm-hmm. I get you. You got to create your own little community, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and that feels so much more authentic.
Totally. This is a sweet segue, actually. Curious on your system for setting up a Patreon. I think it would be so difficult to make one actually worth it for the patrons.
I went back and forth for probably, 2 or 3 months before my Patreon went live. I actually had it made and it was like a thing that you could pay for, but I wasn't posting anything. because I was just playing around with the settings and like what I wanted to include in each tier and the prices and things like that. So it was like a thing for months. And actually a couple people, like my hardcore besties, subscribed and paid for like 1 or 2 months worth of nothing. Like, I don't know why they did that. Like, thanks for your $3, but I don't know why y'all did that. It's so funny. But I really went through, honestly, I creeped a lot of other creators' Patreons, and I saw what felt like it was worth it for me. And I made my most basic tier, the stuff that I wouldn't really care about. So it's $3.99, and it's like, if you want a little bit more interaction with me during your week, that's what people paid for. The next step up is $5.99, and that's the book club. So this, I feel like people were definitely willing to pay for, and I needed some type of monetary motivation to justify the time dedicated to setting up a book club. It was something I got asked in my comments all the time. When are you starting a book club? Can there be a Hailey book club? I need a thriller recommendation book club. So I knew there was a need for that, or a want for that in my comments. And I knew that it would be providing something that would be worth it to me for the time and energy and everything that it takes. And then my top tier is $11.99. And that is like, I create so much content for my top tier. I think over 50% of my patrons are in my top tier because I really try to be intentional about it. They get a whole extra exclusive video every single month that never will see the light of day on YouTube or on any other tier of my Patreon. So it's literally every single year, 12 videos. And when you think about 12 videos, that is maybe 40 hours of work.
At least.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
And all of that. And I try to make them like a little bit more subversive. So that's part of the appeal, is that these are videos I wouldn't feel comfortable posting on my YouTube channel because I know the incels in the comments would be popping off and I would have to deal with hate comments. So it's all like tea videos, alcohol related videos, extreme horror, all of the like subversive content goes to those people. And all the people in that tier are like my people. Like, those are my people that I connect with. So they understand that and they want more of it. And we also do a movie watch every month, which is like, takes a lot of planning. Again, it's hours of my time, and obviously it's enjoyable, but it is time. So there's like a lot of just extra stuff. I don't want to give anything else away, but I do have holiday things coming for my queens, my top tier, that I'm so excited. I'm already like buying stationery and things for it. I literally cannot wait. But yeah, that's kind of how I set it up. Is the bottom tier is like Discord reading sprints. If you want to talk to me, that's where you can be. Then we have book club, and then we have the cream of the freaking crop.
Amazing. I love it. Spectacular. After this ends, I will link your Patreon below too. In case that was like the perfect organic pitch for your Patreon. I'm like, damn, you just like slid right into it. It was beautiful.
I mean, I will be totally upfront about it. Like, I have people all the time delete their pledge and be like, hey, it wasn't worth it to me, or you weren't as active as I wanted you to be on the Discord. And I'm like, hey, I get it. Like, I'm a busy woman. This is not my full-time job. If you want to talk to me every day, 24/7, that's not what you're going to get. And if you don't want to pay for it, unless you're talking to me 24/7, girl, bye. Like, that's totally fine. Oh my God, Boba. She decided to sing for us.
Oh, a masterpiece, Boba. Thank you so much. Amanda, hello. Love you back. Oop, hello. I don't read a ton of thrillers, but I love your thriller vlogs. Exactly.
I love you, people.
Yes, it's like the Hailey spice. That's what I want.
That's so funny.
Iconic. I think this was Hailey Ween. Amazing. Hailey reading thrillers, wearing scary movie shirts. Her dogs are nearby. Baked goods cooling on the counter. Work just finished for the day. Exactly.
That is the
A
vibe.
proper fan.
Yeah, that is exactly it. Like that moment is when I want to take out my phone and vlog because it feels good. Like my work's done. I'm just relaxing. I want to talk to the besties.
Mm-hmm. We're chilling. Noelle using Hailey's therapy skills to talk about my readathon trauma. I mean, yes.
That was 2 months ago. We did that 2 months ago.
We did. That was really, I felt like a brand new person after our little session. Yeah. It was rejuvenating. Yeah. Love the top tier Hailey experience. I love that Patreon feels like a community. That's the best case scenario. That means you're doing it right.
And everybody is just like very like-minded. Like I saw when I was creeping on other creators' Patreons, like they had these very strict rules, and a lot of other creators' experiences were like, oh yeah, you have to kick people out of the Discord if they don't follow your rules. So I'm like, oh my God, what? And I set it up and I made this rule thread on Discord. I haven't had to enforce one rule because everyone is just so kind and just like I said, like-minded. Like we have discussions about mental health every single day. Everyone is so supportive. We never have any contention about like political, religious stuff. Everyone is just like a beautiful human.
Love it. You have really found your people.
I have. That's what I love about the internet.
Truly. I feel like I always get side-eye in my non-online life where I'm like, oh yeah, I have all these close friends that I've made through YouTube and Instagram just talking about books. And if like the girlies that get it, you know, it's one of those weird things, but I really do feel like I have found my kooky book people.
Oh yeah. That's like, I met Ashley, who was one of my first, I kid you not, my first 50 subscribers. And amazing. I met her in person this year and we are close friends. She literally sent me flowers the other day. I'm having her do my makeup for my wedding. Like we
oh my God.
got to this point and I talk about her to my like real life friends and they're like, oh, the patron girl. I said, don't. What do you see in the patron girl? That's Ashley. That's my real life friend. And I'm like, oh, I'm going live later. And my real life friends are like, oh yeah, for her minions. I said, that's not my minions. Those are my literal best friends. Can you step off?
New best friends.
Here's Mochi. Here's the ugly boy. If anyone wants to see.
The king. Oh, look at his little tail. Here comes the boy. Look at him. Moch.
An alien. Who are you?
Oh. He's like, yeah, Mom, I'm an alien. What about it? Oh.
Where did
Cutie pie. Hey, Lachlan. It's Corn. God, I have been nonstop singing this song to Wes. And he's not on TikTok, so he's like, what are you singing? And the other day he sent me like a reel or something, and the caption was, it's corn. And I was like, exactly, you get it. We've come full circle.
Not a reel.
This is okay, because I send him reels because he's on Instagram, so it's easy to send them. Or I can like text him the TikToks, but yeah. Yeah, we're on the 3-week trend lateness train with reels and not TikToks. You know, it's so baby steps. It's corn. The song of my people. Honestly, go off, Boba. You're doing amazing. The day of my newsletter. Yes, I sent it out a few hours ago. It straight up went to my spam folder because I was my first subscriber for like to test it. And it was sent out, and I'm like, well, I don't see it. Where did it go? My spam. But yes, I did send out my newsletter today. It's like such a fun, new, silly project of mine.
I love it.
I've come to Funky Town. Welcome. Welcome to the party. It came out this afternoon. Wow, I'm so glad that you loved it. I had a good old time. I was cracking myself up writing my silly little newsletter. Just jumping in. Hello. Joins Hailey's Patreon so she can give me therapy. LOL, JK.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Highly recommend checking out Coffee. Bless you. Yeah, Elizabeth was my very first tarot client through my Coffee page.
That is so cool.
So much fun. I'm already having so much fun. It's been a big week for Elmo at Noelle 7 Pages, truly.
See, you're like me. This is why we connect, because of our varied interests. It's the 7 energy.
It really is. It really, that is the underlying connection. I'm convinced.
For sure.
Didn't get the newsletter. Gotta go figure out. The good thing is I chose this newsletter subscription so that it archives all of them. So you could still read like all the previous ones if you like sign up later or miss them or whatever. But yeah, my filter sent it straight into the garbage. So I had to fix that on my email. A little goblin baby. Little Moach. Oh my gosh. He winked.
He wants to be free.
He said, let me show off my blue steel. Wow. Yep, exactly. Silly Gmail. Perfect. Yes. Feel so special. Yeah, you are so quick. So quick. So you were the very first tarot commission, ma'am. Same. So we're all in this together. Bless you. A true fan. A big old Noelle 7 Pages fan. I appreciate
that. That is giving the same energy as the people who paid for my Patreon for a month for nothing.
I love it. I love it. Well, Elizabeth, like, she's so sweet. She has sent me like a coffee, like just a donation coffee with the caption, just because reasons. And I'm like, you queen, like you are my everything, my life, my love, my everything. What are y'all drinking? This is a great question.
I have Chardonnay. It's from a box. I don't know the box.
A good box, I hope. A tasty box.
It's great.
It's corn. I'm drinking Roussan, and also Diet Pepsi, and also water. So that's the beverage trilogy of the day.
Trilogy.
They're always stacked around me. And just out of frame, I have jalapeno chips and Cheez-Its over there. So we are stocked and ready.
Kennedy, what are you drinking? Let us know. I know she's got a drink over there.
Of course. It is beverage o'clock. So,
usually she'll do a White Claw, and I'm like, I don't know how you do that. My stomach would literally hate me with the amount of White Claws that girl drinks.
I love a seltzer. My favorites are the Trulies. I love the Truly lemonades.
Oh, that brings me back to a bad time.
Oh, it's weird how you could drink something and then like have it associated with something.
You puke it up once and it's done for.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I had a Chardonnay so buttery it tasted like buttered popcorn. So it's corn works.
I do like a Chardonnay. It's called buttercream. It is so.
Yeah. There's a Chardonnay, I think they sell it like Target, and it's just called Butter. And I used to work in the wine industry, and there's this like very much so snobby, like holier than thou mentality right now, because there's trends in wine like everything else. Right now, the trend is to look down on buttery shards. So the hipster thing is to like Chardonnay without the butteriness, which means usually aging in neutral oak or stainless steel, which is details we don't need to get into. But it's like, what do you have against buttery Chardonnay? Like, sometimes you just want a buttery Chardonnay. Like, what is the problem?
That's what I always want. So apparently I'm not trendy, but I don't care.
Oh yeah. The whole thing with wine is like all that matters is if you like it or not. And whether
Mhm.
it's trendy, whether it's $5 a bottle or $50 a bottle, literally who gives a shit? Do you like it? That's
Period.
it. It's like coffee. I mean, you can like Starbucks and artisanal free range organic fancy coffee, but those are like separate things. Like you can like $5 wine and also like fancy wine. It just depends on your mood, depends on your taste. It's
So
all
true.
good.
See,
Having a beer.
she's a cool girl. I can't relate. She's so cool.
Love a beer moment. We rarely have beer in the house because we both used to be in the wine industry. He still is. We're in all these wine clubs, so it's always like we're drinking wine. Every once in a while we'll have some beer randomly and it's like this is so different, so refreshing. It's so exciting.
I'm not a beer girl. I've tried it so many times and I just cannot get into it. I can do a dose at a Mexican restaurant with lots of lime, but anything else, I'm not down.
You know what you like though. You know, that's important. The beverage trilogy. I am who I am. There is like it's so hot in my house that this is probably warm. There's like 3 sips left. I don't know why I am like this, but it will sit there until I finish it. Saving it for later. I always have multiple beverages. Exactly. Yes. Oh, see, there's so many seltzers now. We really had the seltzer renaissance the last couple years.
Can't be a
The
seltzer.
White Claws. Oh, Satan has arrived.
Oh,
Hello.
hi. Hey, bitch. How you doing?
Welcome. What's new? What's going on? I just realized somebody is gaming. Yeah, that's Wes. Our house is basically like a studio with a couple extra walls. So we share an office space. He's playing, I think, the Formula One game. I don't know if that's what it's called or not. Wine guru, teach us your ways. Yeah, the basics is, does it taste good? Do you like it? Then drink it. Beer household. Everything I've tasted so far is nasty. Okay. What have you tasted so far? And also, do you like to drink wine just to like have a glass of wine? Or do you like to drink wine with a meal? Because those are two very different things. And also, have you tried sparkling and have you tried like sweeter like dessert wine? Because those are also two things that kind of get a bad rep, but they can be really tasty, especially if you're like, I don't like the super dry, dark red Cabernets. I don't like Chardonnay or white wine. You might like a bubbly. Those are my tips.
That was my gateway. A pet nat was my gateway to being a wine lover.
Love a pet nat. Mm-hmm. Bubbly moment. Agree. Beer is not for me. Wine or sweet as can be. I do love a fancy cocktail.
Yeah, I'm a vodka girl. We went to I can't remember if it was Twin Liquors or Total Wine, but the people who have the dollar sale, we went like 2 weekends ago, and oh my God, the amount of alcohol that they just had like up for sampling in the store. I'm like, y'all know everybody drove here, right? I was literally tipsy walking out of there for free. And then we bought a bunch of bottles. I think we bought like 8 bottles of liquor for the wholesale price plus $1. So we got a
What?
car and we're going to be making some fancy drinks. The new place that we moved into has an espresso bar downstairs. So I'm getting fresh espresso and making myself an espresso martini on my bar cart. I'm so excited for that.
That sounds heavenly. That sounds like peak luxury.
Once we actually move into our actual unit, because this lovely place you see me in is my temporary unit.
Okay. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, it's being constructed. So hopefully, praise be under his eye, we will move in in 2 weeks. We're hoping for 2 weeks. If not, it's probably going to be October. So we've been waiting around in this temporary box of a unit for almost 2 months now, and I'm ready to get out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you need to settle, put your silverware away, put some things on the wall.
Yeah, no. I literally all in front of me is just boxes stacked all over the place, and random furniture that did not fit in the tiny box of a bedroom, because they were like, oh yeah, your 2-bedroom isn't ready, but we have a 1-bedroom we can just stick y'all in. So
Oh no.
Okay, that's fine. Like, surely everything will fit. I got a desk in the middle of my living room. It is so bad.
I'm thinking about it. Are you the type of person who likes to rearrange your space? Like, or do you like permanent fixture?
Once I get it how I want it, it stays. But probably for the first year that I live somewhere, we switch in things until I feel the feng shui.
Okay. That's how he is. I'm the type of person where every 6 months or so, like fucking clockwork, I want to change everything. Mm-hmm. I like all the art comes down, the rooms, the living room turns into the bedroom, the office turns into the living room. I want to change everything. And when he moved in, I lived here for a year or so on my own, and then he moved in here with me. He's like, whoa, we're doing what? Me, I like to switch it up, keep it funky fresh. And I'm starting to get the itch, but I'm procrastinating because I don't want to have to move things around and be sweaty again. But not too long, I think the last time we did was because he was like, I was thinking maybe like for date night we could rearrange because I know you want to and we haven't in a while. And I'm like, that's the most romantic thing you've ever said to me. So it's very cute. Bless him. But yeah, my new idea maybe is because we both have like corner L-shaped desks in this little office space. Like, what if we split it up, or we push the office in a different room? It's just the ideas are flowing.
Are you one that would want a treadmill under the desk?
Ooh, not in this place. This place is very small, but eventually I would not be opposed.
That's what I got for my new office. I'm so excited for that. I'm like, I would never want an office unless there's a little treadmill. And all my clients that I see virtually are just going to see me walk in as I'm doing the session. I'm like, hey, girl.
That just screams hot girl Hailey to me. Like, she is on her hot girl shit, on her treadmill, doing therapy.
Well, I don't know if I told you this or if you know this, but I'm a somatic therapist. So everything I do is in the body. All my in-person sessions, I've turned into hot girl walks. We literally do therapy walking around the lake. And that's how I see 90% of my clients. They love it.
I love that. Hot girl walks plus therapy. What an idea.
Yeah, it's so much more comfortable when you're walking with somebody and you're not just like sitting across from them in a cold office like, hey girl, tell me your trauma. Like, no, let's walk around the lake. Let's be normal. Let's move our bodies. Let's activate our parasympathetic nervous system and do some somatic therapy.
I love that. I love a hot girl walk already. And then like adding therapy to that. Beautiful. Genius. Mm-hmm. Y'all remember slapping the bag? Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. Advice for someone who loves a full-bodied red but is allergic to the tannins or something, and I get the full-on Irish flush after 3 sips. Not cute. So another big trend in wine right now is the push for natural wine, which you have to be a little bit careful about because there's no governing body that gets to dub the natural wine or not. It's kind of a buzzword. Usually what they mean when they say natural wine is no additives and unfined and unfiltered. Sometimes there's some interesting information circulating about the sulfites in red wine, and the data is not conclusive about whether sulfites actually give you headaches or not, or if it's the tannins, but you could experiment with a wine that has had sulfites taken out versus, which would be like a natural wine, because sulfites is low-key like a very necessary part of the winemaking, which is why some natural wines are a little bit funky. But you might really vibe with a natural wine, sulfite-free red wine if you can find them. So that would be a good experiment for you. Otherwise, I would say look for a low alcohol red wine like a Grenache or a Pinot, like under 14%, around 13%, because most white wines are in the 10 to 13% alcohol range. A lot of red wines are in 14 to 16% range. So if you could find a low alc red wine, that might be better too. Nothing like carrying the bag with the spigot into a concert back in the day. Dude, I remember, this is so bad. I remember being in college and the entry to one of the frats was having to slap the bag and go inside to the party. Which, like, first of all, now it like I'm such a germaphobe. I'm like, I could never. Like, how many gross college kids were slapping and sipping on that cow udders Franzia bag?
Yeah, no, I want to know.
Just yikes. Yeah, no way. A different time.
That's what we had on our party buses, was a slap the bag routine where they would start at the front and pass it to the back. And I was always in the back. So how many people's saliva did I have in my mouth at that point? Who knows? But I survived.
Oh. Right. Your immune system is probably made of steel by this point.
For sure.
I need to ask somebody the specifics. Most of what I tasted was at a wine and cheese party. I'll DM you if I remember it. Yes, definitely DM me. Sometimes whatever you pair with the wine makes a huge difference. The multiple LLCs means she can afford a full bar cart with the mixers.
Girl, yes. That's why I went to the dollar sale, because no, my taxes are literally killing me.
Oh, I love it. I have to switch things up every 6 months. I need to see a change. Yes. I am the type of person, like, my environment is very influential on me. Like, I have to have a clean kitchen. I have to vacuum. Otherwise, I won't even notice, but I'll start to spiral and I'll start to feel extra stressed until my environment is back to an equilibrium. And every once in a while, I like to shake it up and start fresh, move stuff around. Yeah, he knows. He's a sweetie. You need to have a background of you walking in a blizzard.
I used to like do the green screen background thing. So many therapists do that, and they just like put like a nice looking home behind them, because people like, self-disclosure is such a big thing when you're a therapist. So even just like having my plants back there in the therapy community would be a self-disclosure that I'm a plant lady. And that would tell my clients something about me, and then they would form their own opinions about me, which would impede the session. So I used to actually do that, where I had like a different background. And then I realized like there is something so dehumanizing about not even being able to show my plants. No, if I have a client that it gets in the way of that, we're not a good fit, and I just got to drop them. So I am showing all of my horror books in the background on shelves on my in my office, and that's going to be the background of my therapy sessions. So who knows? If I lose clients, I'll let you know.
Did it? I don't know if that's you or me. Oh, she back. Okay. I'm like, someone dropped out for a sec.
Oh no.
I don't know if it was you, but no, I love that. It's like take it or leave it. I like to read thrillers. What about it?
Mm-hmm.
The big items pretty much stay in the same spot, but the aesthetics will change.
I like
That's how my mom is that way too, which is probably where I got it from. And she's not an earth sign. I know you asked that too. It might be a Virgo thing. It also just might be a specific mental thing. I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have a space that feels like you, that you feel comfortable in. For me, I feel comfortable switching it up every once in a while. I don't know. Dropping all the knowledge. I don't get to do this every day anymore, so you can always ask me all the wine questions. I could go all day.
I will.
Mm-hmm. Everything about college makes me wonder how I didn't die of the plague.
Yeah.
Truly. I think about this frequently, about all of the ridiculousness that happened in like the party scene at college, but also just simply normal life in college. I don't know how I made it out of there. I only got sick once, like really once in college. And I remember all my roommates like quarantined me because it was during finals week. And they were like, we love you, can't catch this, whatever it is. But the rest of the time, somehow I made it through. Pictures of her kids in our office.
Huh. See, this is a very controversial thing, actually, that clients don't know about. Is there is like team self-disclosure and team keep it all neutral. And I am hard team self-disclosure. I think the more that my clients know about me, obviously in an appropriate context, the more that I can join with them and they understand that I get them. So if somebody wants to disclose that they're a mom and majority of their clients are also moms, that's a joining thing.
Love it. That's so interesting. Like a little bit of therapy behind the scenes.
Yeah, people don't know that, but it's a big deal. Even just like the way that you react to things can be a self-disclosure. Like I have clients that ask me all the time, oh, do you know this TikTok sound? Oh, do you know this movie? And I have to think about it before I answer and what the implications will be if they know that I've consumed this content.
Huh. Yeah, that's just a whole other layer. I'm so glad we have professionals who do this because I would be like, hell yeah, I've seen that TikTok. Are you kidding me?
And with some of my clients, because I have to judge based on the relationship, I will totally do that. There are some clients that send me TikToks and to my like business phone, and they will send a whole caption about, hey, this really brought a lot of stuff up for me. We need to talk about this on Tuesday. And I'm like, I got you, girl. There has also been a client who asked me to be in her TikTok. And I told her, what? You are breaking your own confidentiality if you disclose that I am your therapist and post it on the internet. But she wanted to do it. And I said, no. If you want to do that, you are breaking your own confidentiality, but leave my face out of it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. What a spectrum.
I know. And I see a lot of young women and young adolescents and also a lot of queer people. So it's a lot of Gen Z niche internet culture. These people grew up on the internet. It's where they found themselves. It's where they found their tribe. So I get it, but also like, girl, I'm not going to be in your TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah, that is quite a hard line. Like that's interesting to me. If I saw all the horror books, I'd be like, she's crazy. I love it. This is so cute.
Aww.
Firekeeper's Daughter. Have you read that?
I haven't, but everyone tells me when I read it, it's going to be my favorite book ever. So.
Okay. I haven't read it either. It's like, I'm so intrigued. Moving, but not without some troubling bits. This feels like right up your alley.
Yeah.
I grew up in the country, free-ranging for 12 hours a day in the 80s and 90s. Yikes. Yeah, the small town country life is really a wild time. Yes. So far, nothing has happened. Thank you, Kennedy and Jean, for getting us back to books. We have really come full circle. What are you currently reading right now?
So I just finished an extreme horror vlog, which I'm so excited to post because I had multiple 5 stars in that video. I just read The Night of the Prowler by John Athan, which to me, I thought was a man named John Athan. Cameron so kindly pointed out that it is a pseudonym and it is just Jonathan split up into a first and a last name. So that was a big realization for me. But
I wouldn't have got it. So
it just boom right over my head. I feel like a lot of extreme horror authors have pseudonyms, and I just always say it as if it's a fact and it's their name. In my video, I'm like, yeah, so Penelope Bottom Trot, like obviously that's not the name. But I just read that. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and I've been in a little bit of a book hangover for the past like 6 hours since I finished it because it was that good. It was like everything I've ever wanted. If you want a horror movie in book form, read The Night of the Prowler.
Solid rec. I am reading the most different book imaginable from that. It's a middle grade sci-fi book about this girl, Molly Moon. It's called Molly Moon, Mickey Minus, and the Mind Machine. It's like my favorite series ever, and I'm rereading them for the nostalgia. And it's like the 4th book in the series, and there's a mind machine that can suck your memories away. It's kind of scary for a kid's book, but not extreme horror, obviously.
I love those books. I'm actually collecting them because I want to reread the whole series.
Oh my gosh, you should. The first 3 masterpieces, like really stand up to time. This 4th one, I don't know if it's really standing up, but like the first 3 books, I'm astounded at how much I still love them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's been a very fun, wholesome reread so far. This is so interesting because I'd feel much more comfortable feeling like I'm talking to a real person.
Yes.
Interesting.
I feel the same way about my therapist, which is why I try to insert those like little pieces of me without crossing a line. I do it in the way that I show things in the background, the way that I have Boba in session with me, things that I wear. I will always wear quirky, big, fun earrings if I do a telehealth session. Just so they can see like what my mood is that day based on my earrings. And sometimes I'll wear my big ass butcher knife earrings so they know like I'm a weird horror girl. And nobody said anything. It's just like, oh, that's my quirky therapist.
I love that you have your quirky therapist thing, and that's your funky earrings. That's so cute. I love it.
And my cardigans. I do my like rainbow knit cardigans. They know that I have a quirky little style, unless we're walking around the lake, and then I'm exclusively in like outdoor voices dresses because anything else, I'm going to sweat like hell.
Oh yeah, you got to be prepared for the hot girl walks. Firekeeper's Daughter is back heavy on the plot. Okay. This is more Firekeeper's Daughter. I'm really bummed because I finished a solid book at the start of the week, and the new read is not scratching the itch. So this happy hour is an awesome distraction from the Neck Alley shelf. Okay. Don't remind me about my Neck Alley shelf. I'm ignoring her.
Yeah, no, I don't know her.
That's a project for maybe December me. I don't know. I want to push that out a little bit. Some things are just meant to be kept to yourself. That's what I find interesting about new generations. They are vulnerable, has ups and downs.
I totally agree. That is a great take. Yeah.
Hailey's making me second guess not doing a psych minor. Love what I learned in the 2 classes I took. Didn't want to be analyzing, picking up on traumas all the time. Do you feel like you do that?
Well, I specialize in trauma. So every single session, I'm hearing about one of the deepest, darkest, most horrible things that somebody's gone through. And the way that I protect myself from that is doing somatic therapy. I think any trauma therapy that is not somatic is a waste of money, frankly, for the client. And the therapist is going to get burnt out really quickly because a big part of the session is just me regulating my own nervous system while they're telling me what's happened to them as a model. So they feel my nervous system regulation and they can co-regulate with me and understand that it's possible to experience something and relive a piece of it without the whole and still feel regulated. And I also don't encourage the narrative. Now, a lot of my clients fight me on that. Probably about 90% of them fight me on that. And they feel like it's really essential to tell me exactly what happened to them and all of the details and really dive in and dig into those places. For me, I don't think there's any point in re-traumatizing the nervous system by going back to that place. If you told me nothing about what happened to you, I didn't know the context. I didn't know that you were sexually abused. I didn't know that your father hit you and threw you down the stairs. I didn't know about any of these things. You just simply told me the emotions that came up for you and how it felt in your body. I could do the same work that I do without all the narrative. So I encourage people to leave the pieces of the narrative that we can feel stuck in to the side, and that helps me and it helps them, because there's literally no point in retelling a story over and over that just dysregulates your nervous system and re-traumatizes you. It's all about the body work and being able to handle a little bit more each time. There's something called the window of tolerance. And when people come to me, their window of tolerance is about this big, and everything above here is hyperactivation, and everything below here is hypoactivation. And that's when your nervous system slips over into sympathetic mode, and you're either on the edge of a panic attack or feeling major anxiety, or you're slipping into depression mode and feeling like you're dissociating. And where you're feeling comfortable is right in here. So I bring every client during every session to the edge of their window of tolerance where they're about to dissociate or they're about to have a panic attack, but they don't. And I prove to them that if you can go here, next time we can go here, and then we can go here, and then we can go here. And then the symptoms that they came in for, like depression or panic disorder, gradually treat themselves as we train the nervous system. So that was a really long explanation of how I protect myself and the client.
You just took us to school. That was so interesting. Thank you for giving us a little piece behind the curtain. That's
oh my God, I could talk about somatic therapy all day. It's my favorite thing ever.
I love it. I read it. Oh, this is Firekeeper's Daughter. I read it in a book club too. I came into September with multiple books I was in the middle of, and I want to abandon them all for KU Smut. Yeah, go for it. Follow your heart. Pursue your dreams. Read your smut.
Yes.
Are we getting a Molly Moon reading vlog? I haven't been vlogging because I didn't really think that anyone would want to see me reading 20-year-old middle grade sci-fi, but it's also not the last time I'm going to reread them, honestly. So eventually, now that I know you would watch a Molly Moon reading vlog, eventually I'm sure that it will exist. But this time, no. It would be weird to start on the fourth book, you know? What would you say the differences between horror and extreme horror? Excellent question.
So I have trouble here because there are different interpretations of extreme horror based on the author. And there's a large sector of the extreme horror community that I've learned about that is basically incel, edgelord white men who use the label of extreme horror to excuse horrible beliefs and disgusting fantasies. I'm talking about white men casually using the N-word in their novels and saying, well, extreme horror is meant to be offensive. So there you go. That's horrified. And if you're offended by that, then my book has done its job.
Yikes.
No. For me, there's a line between offensive for offensive sake and literally hurting major populations of people and what I'm looking for in extreme horror, which is gore, violence, sexual content, subversive content, anything that would not be traditionally published. And sometimes that's in a serious context, like The Groomer by John Athan. I loved that book. It really shines a light on the reality of child human trafficking. And John Athan did a wonderful job researching. The book hits you like a ton of bricks. It is very hard to read, but if you like extreme horror, you will like it. On the other end, the book that I just read by the same author is a super fun slasher where somebody gets a cob of corn stuck up their ass. So, like,
What?
the extreme can go in two different ways. And I think there's a line that a lot of authors cannot find. So I think it's really important to, number one, read reviews before you go in. And number two, understand that there is a risk going into extreme horror. I've seen a lot of people on the internet, a lot of my friends, take my recommendations and then be traumatized by what they've read. I hear trauma narratives every single day, day in and day out. So this stuff is not disturbing to me in the slightest. The piece that is disturbing to me that I think doesn't have a place in the genre is when it's problematic for problematic's sake.
Yikes. Wow. I'm just like stuck on the range of this man, John Athan. Like, what? Oh, wow.
I really love him. And there's something about male extreme horror authors, which is about 99% of all extreme horror authors are male. And some of them, when you're reading gore, especially when it's violence against women, you just feel through the pages of the novel that this dude hates women. And for me, as a woman, that is not a fun reading experience. It feels like a guy is taking out all of his hatred on all the women that have ever rejected him and putting it on this woman on the pages of a book who's getting brutalized and raped and murdered. For some authors, like John Athan, when he does include sexual content, it either adds to the story, develops the character, you know, there's some kind of arc, there's some kind of trauma, and you can just tell that this person writing does not have a hatred for women. So that's where I get really frustrated with the argument that, oh, well, if you're offended by my description of this woman being brutalized, then my book has done its job. No, because I can feel the difference between when it's an author opinion and when it's on-page gore.
Totally. That just feels like such a lazy, cheap way to, like you're saying, to just have a get out of jail free card to unleash your most yikes worthy fantasies into the world versus writing an actual piece of horrifying literature.
Right. And I've read extreme horror that's purely psychological that has freaked me out so much more than these edgelords telling me exactly what they want to do to me.
Yeah, psychological horror, psychological thrillers, that is no joke. Firekeeper's Daughter, romance thriller, took a back seat. I need to get on this, I guess.
I know, everybody loves it.
I want to get into middle grade. Have you heard of or read our Lord and Savior, Amari and the Night Brothers? That is the end all be all, and I could talk all day about it. Molly Moon is ancient lore. It's like 20 years old, middle grade, but I love her so much. Amari is everything. It makes me so excited about where middle grade is going right now. The second one just came out too. I'm about to read it this month. Also reading smut. Still on the fence about it because it has two different storylines that aren't working together. This is a big struggle for me in books too. That always trips me out sometimes. It's like very hit or miss. Akata Witch is a great middle grade series that ages up to YA as the books go on. I'm obsessed. I want everyone to read it. I love when books age up as the readership ages up. Yeah. I was interested in that book based on a post the author made, but then reviews in the book description didn't match. Interesting. I happen to have a lot of sci-fi on my NetGalley shelf. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, check them off. Gamify it. Sci-fi September. I could listen to Hailey discuss this forever. Truly, like this is what happy hour is for. Like just letting people do their thing. I hope you love it. So good. I want to try that type of therapy. It might help my PTSD.
It is one of the highest efficacy proven by scientific evidence for PTSD, right behind EMDR. And EMDR, gosh, that stuff is intense. I would say do a lot of research before you start that. If you're looking for an intro to trauma therapy, somatics is wonderful.
Yeah, I could see how that would be tough to jump into in fiction if you're dealing with that, you know, in your job too. That's tough.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's part of why I like extreme horror, is that no matter what my clients tell me, I know that I can read a book and it's going to be worse. So it kind of, in a fucked up way, is comforting to me. But yeah, no, I definitely have read a book that's like, whoa, this is getting too close to a client that I've seen and I can't handle it.
Gotcha. Can't handle the body horror. That is one of my things. Like this is how I know I am like a little baby wimp. I can barely do thrillers every once in a while. This is what's so funny about how like you and I are such pals, but have such vastly different taste. Like every once in a while I'll be like, oh, I'm feeling like a baddie. Maybe I'll read a thriller. But a body horror? I can't do it. Same with like the animal horror. Absolutely not.
You haven't read the Ray stuff, because I thought the same thing. I thought that I wasn't a body horror girl.
Okay.
Once I got into mutilation, then I was like, oh, okay. I get it. Bodily fluids, though, that's where you lose me. If there's anything with a bodily fluid, I'm out the door. I'm throwing up.
Yikes. Though, okay, there's the exception is sometimes in adult fantasy, there will be a scene or a chapter of very intense body horror for the sake of a transformation or someone using their powers on someone or whatever. That for some reason in those contexts, usually I'm like, oh, okay, all right. But in normal non-fantasy circumstances, it's like usually gives me the ick. But like an example that comes to mind is Sabriel by Garth Nix, which is a fantasy that's like an older-ish fantasy, but there is some horror at the end, and I remember just like gobbling it up because it made such like sense for where the story was going. But that is definitely the exception to not the rule for me.
So don't read Tender as the Flesh.
Okay. Because I have thought about it. I am like, it's one of those books I have FOMO about. Okay, great. This is good to know.
All body horror the entire time and pretty intense animal abuse.
Fantastic. I'm taking that one off TBR. Every time I see someone talk about it, I'm like, this feels like ideas that I would like to explore, but I don't know if I would love the execution. And this answers my question.
I loved it so much, but not for you.
Good to know. Take all the tension, none of the fire. Such a depth and breadth of options in lit because we all have different tastes. Yes. This is why when someone comes for reading as an umbrella term, I'm like, but what do you mean? Like, I will go to bat for the horror girlies, the romance girlies, but like, what do you mean? What do you mean when you say that reading is dorky? What do you mean when you say that romance isn't reading, that audiobooks isn't reading? Like, let's let's unpack that. But it is so weird because there are so many different little sub umbrellas, sub niches within it. Also, I know we are way over an hour. Do you want to? We're still popping off. Do you want to go for another 5-10 minutes or so? Call it a day.
Oh, I'm good for whenever. I got free time.
We're chilling. She still has some Chardonnay left. Gore. Oh, not fire. Even my autocorrect doesn't want me to talk about gore. I mean, what was this in the? Oh, okay. None of the fire. None of the gore. Got it. Love psychological is my jam.
I got a new rec for you, Kennedy. I'm gonna DM you. I don't want to spoil my blog, but I will spoil it for Kennedy because I know she's gonna watch it.
This is I so approve of this gift. If I had read Amari and the Night Brothers as a kid, it would have been my favorite book. Like that would be in an alternate timeline. Baby Noelle is reading Amari and the Night Brothers as a 10-year-old and rereading it as a 27-year-old for the nostalgia. Like that is what Molly Moon is to me for kids right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It is so good. It's so special. I will add those. Where are we at with romance? Is that more November, December vibes? This is actually good because I know sometimes you're also a romance girly. Are you feeling romance recently?
Not recently. I don't know what it is. I haven't read a romance since July that I've enjoyed. I think like beginning of July was when I read every summer after. And nothing has touched that for me since.
I see. I'm so hot or cold with romance. I went through a phase this summer where I read nothing but romance, put out at least one full romance vlog, have a bunch of romance books very compact in my wrap-up I'm about to do, but I haven't really read much romance since that. So I don't know. The last one that I really loved was Red, White, Royal Blue, that along with everyone else. But I hadn't read it until this year.
I didn't like that one. I am sorry. I'm sorry.
This is so interesting. You're not the only one I've heard say that, because I went down the rabbit hole of reading 1-star reviews for fun, just as a hobby. Whenever I give something 5 stars, I think it's so interesting to look at what people don't like about a book that I like. So I would be very interested to know what didn't work for you.
For me, it didn't feel realistic. It felt like a fetishization of what someone who is not a man who is gay, dating a man who is gay, thinks a gay relationship should be. And obviously all my clients are in the LGBTQ community, so I'm very sensitive to those issues, and I hear all the time people talking about fetishization and how harmful it is. So I feel like I'm hyper aware of that. My favorite part of the book was the political intrigue and seeing a woman as president. That was
honestly, yes. So good. I loved how political it was. I did like that a lot.
That had me sobbing at the end when she made her speech. I cried, but the romance, I literally could not give a shit.
That is fair. That is fair. Did you ever read American Royals?
I love that book. Believe it or not. I think it is pure trash. It is pure trash. But that's the thing, is I knew as I was reading it, I was like, this is trash. This is a TLC show, but I'm living for it.
Yes. That's the thing. I think if I had gone into it knowing it was garbage, reality TV garbage, I would have been a little bit more forgiving. But I really wanted the political female leader vibes of American Royals, and I was so upset. American Royals, I guess, was fine, but I read the sequel and it was One of the worst books I've ever read. I hated it.
That one did piss me off because the main sister who was about to be the queen, the way that her storyline went, why would that choice be made? I don't know.
Yeah. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. But anytime I pick up something in like with an American political like background or setting or anything like that, like Red, White, and Royal Blue, I'm transported back to my hatred of that series. But so in my mind, I'm like Red, White, Royal Blue, it was better than American Royals. Great. Perfect. Liked Tender as the Flesh.
So good.
I just started following Hailey. Thank you, Noelle, for bringing her to my attention. I feel like the coolest bitch alive for introducing you to Hailey Hughes. Thank you, Jean. That makes me feel really cool. But so glad that somehow you have found Hailey's channel.
And thanks for following.
I don't know why. That just cracks me up, but I love it. Getting late here on the East Coast. So glad for the return of Happy Hour. Had a great time at your disco. Love you, Laura. Thank you for coming. Catch you next time. Can't wait. I took a screenshot of Hailey's ranking so I could reference it for what to read. I haven't started yet because I want to be in the mood for it. Precious.
I'm guessing that's my horror ranking. And yeah, that one, you could spend a year working through that.
Alison Cochran's second book is coming in November, and it's going to be so good. Okay, you're right. You're right. This is my anticipated romance. Alison Cochran wrote The Charm Offensive, and she's coming out with a sapphic romance, like a sapphic holiday romance. Oh, what's it called? Kiss Her Once for Me.
Yeah, that one's firmly on the TBR.
Firmly on the TBR. Sorry, I'm blocking our friend who's read a book or two. I am usually not one for holiday romances. I actually can't think of a holiday romance I've ever read. But for some reason, have you read The Charm Offensive?
I had it from my library and it lapsed and returned. So I literally just got back on the wait list. In 30 weeks, I'll let you know.
Okay, fair. Because I would be really interested knowing how you feel about Red, White, and Royal Blue, but also with your expertise in mental health. Like, I would love to know your thoughts on that book. Also, the reality TV, like, bachelor element is a trope that I just gobble up. That is one of my favorite romances that I've read this year. So I'm excited for her. Oh, yeah. But, like, that one tops Red, White, Royal Blue for me. Charm Offensive for surezies.
Cool.
What is the mail book we're talking about? We were talking about Red, White, Royal Blue. Now we were talking about The Charm Offensive. I have already read it and can confirm Kiss Her Once for Me is a good time. Oh, yeah. You were telling me that it's on NetGalley and I need to go request that arc. After I said I was ignoring NetGalley. Sorry, NetGalley. Can I go request that book from you? It's okay. We can make up. I think it's time for bed. I think we are right behind you. I immediately typed up petty responses for Redacted and was like, wait, feel to yourself. I was thinking about it. And I just said, I'm not going to deal with it.
You're better than me. I always engage.
You know, I feel like I usually do. I just was like, you know what? I am half a glass of wine in, and I'm just feeling like I don't want to bother.
Smart.
These Libby holds are crazy. Okay, usually, speaking of Libby holds, usually they give you a couple days, right, to actually take your hold out. I swear to God, this morning I had a hold come in, and that was like, your hold is here. And I was like doing things. So I looked at the notification, said, great, so excited, can't wait to check it out. And a couple hours later, by the time I went to go and borrow it, it said, your hold has lapsed. Like, you gave me like 3 hours. How is I okay?
What?
Fine.
That's wild. No, if that's
never happened to me.
pissed. I would be pissed. The Austin Library is so overrun with book girls. I'm convinced every book girl in the world lives in Austin, Texas, because they're all at my library requesting the freaking books that I want to read at all times.
How dare they? How dare they?
Like 30 weeks is a pretty average wait for a popular new release.
No way.
That is like 6 months.
I live in a pretty small town for California, I guess. And the double-edged sword is I usually don't have a very long wait if they have it. Is the other side. Because it's like a lot of times I have to put in the request for my library to have something, which again makes me feel pretty damn cool. I'm like, have you guys heard of this spicy hot new release this year? I know, you're welcome. But a lot of times it just doesn't happen, or they're like, yeah, we're just not going to buy that one. So then I have to find it elsewhere. But, hope you love it. You need to get a card down here in San Antonio. No wait on Charm Offensive right now.
You know what?
Yeah.
My brother lives in San Antonio, so I might just do that.
There you go. Average rate is 15 weeks for Overdrive. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty normal. Some of the historical fictions or literary fictions that I want, those are the longest wait times at my library, which gives you an idea of the middle-aged white mommies that I'm competing with.
The clientele.
Yeah, truly. I recommended Magnolia Parks. This is everywhere right now. I also have FOMO. I need people to read it and tell me.
I read the first 2 chapters, like the free Kindle whatever sample. I was sold. Immediately I ordered the book. And of course it's on back order and it's coming from freaking London town. So I just got it. But I'm excited.
Okay. All right. It's like one of those, I feel like it's really having its moment.
Oh yeah.
I need to know. I need to know. But I feel like
Gossip Girl, it's basically British Gossip Girl.
I mean yes. Gossip Girl was everything. Everything. Yeah. So I do need that. This was so fun. Just cracked beer number 2. I'm about to go pour a glass of wine number 2 after this. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming to Happy Hour, the sequel, part 2.
The revival.
The revival. I know. And thank you, Hailey, for being my party guest on the revamp. This was so much fun, and I really appreciate it. A blast.
I had so much fun being here. I would stay on here for 3 more hours. I will do this again. I will be here next week. Anytime you want me here, I will be here.
Well, that's great to know. I may be in your DMs. You'll be in my little back pocket, my little happy hour pocket. Do you have anything? Yes. Okay. Fantastic. What's coming up in the Hailey pipeline that you want to plug for the people outside of Hailey Ween?
Yeah, participate in Hailey Ween. If you're real true bestie and you're not going to cause trouble, join the Patreon and subscribe. That's all I got.
Beautiful. Love it. Fantastic. Everyone else, you know where to find me. There's only one Instagram now, so it's nice and easy. And I will see you next Wednesday for book club and next month on the first Wednesday for more happy hour. And until then, I'll see you later. Love you. Bye.